What is up, everybody? How we doing? The gang's all here. Kilobyte, Francisco, Brandon, Laura, Colin. How we doing? How we doing? Oh, I'm about to sneeze as soon as I go on stream. Why? How was everyone's? I hope everyone had a long weekend. How was everyone's long weekend? I had a good one. I got into 2 different pools. Come on. It's like first swim of the year. It's like I felt like a true Memorial Day thing. Even ate a hot dog and a hamburger. Even ate a hot dog and a hamburger. Ransomware alert this weekend. And security team of me. Claude saved your ass. Explain. How did Claude save your ass? You got some sleep yesterday, which is nice. I stayed up until 1 o'clock in the morning playing Magic the Gathering, so I didn't get as much sleep as I could have. Caught up on homework, but did get a hot dog. It's like the first hot dog I've had in a while. I was thinking it when I was eating it. I was like, man, this is like Memorial Day, like thing going on right here. Little Matt J trivia. This is not fishing for anything, but it is my birthday week. And so Memorial Day weekend is a like legendary top tier birthday like week to have. Okay. Growing up, I think there was like 8 friends that I grew up with that had birthdays this week. So I never had like my own birthday or anything. But now as an adult, I don't know anyone with this birthday week. So like Memorial Day weekend's my birthday weekend. It's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I'm officially another year older. I did it. I bet Matt plays a blue-green deck. I am like partial to white-black. But I don't play a lot of standard anymore. I did dust off the old Magic the Gathering Arena app, my old account in there. And I've been playing a white black deck. CEO's laptop had to download investigation package through Defender. While I was looking at the network dump, it was going. Oh, you just used Claude as like as an investigation helper, like raw Claude. It was going through the process dump while I was looking through the network dump. Brandon, this is sick. This is sick. I don't know what kind of day job you've got. Offhand, I think we've connected on other social networks, but I'm wondering if you've checked out any of like the AI investigation helpers, like startups that are out there. So thank you, Kilobyte, for the belated birthday love. But yes, I don't really need a birthday party because it's Memorial Day weekend. So it's like the whole weekend's a party. Security engineer on a now very small team. Yeah, but I don't know if you have any budget for like any of those fancy toys, because there's a bunch of people out there that are like building AI investigation helpers, so you don't have to just use Claude out of the box. I'm more just curious because I don't even know at this point. I don't know like how good Claude out of the box is like compared to some of those other purpose-built things. Like I wonder if you could achieve similar with just like skills and stuff. I don't know. I think some of the AI socks are probably better because they have like purpose-built connectors and stuff, which would probably be pretty hard. They were stupid expensive. You wrote your own tool in C# and Swift. Saved over $100K a year. Yeah. Yeah, 6 figures a year is pretty standard for licensing fees for those things. What else? What else can I tell you guys? Oh, I'm still studying. So I told you guys about the scuba thing I'm going to, right? I got to get my talk together this week. Maybe we can like tinker on that tomorrow on stream. But I'm going to, I'm giving the keynote at this conference. It's my first keynote, guys. I've given like hundreds of conference talks, probably. It's got to be hundreds at this point. I've given lots and lots and lots of conference talks over my career. If not, it's like very high double digits. And I've never given a keynote, so it's my first keynote. But I had to learn how to scuba dive in order to go. So I'll be scuba-ing a ton. But I don't know how much I talked about this on stream already, but I got open water certified, which lets you go to like 60 feet deep and use like normal tanks of air, but then you can get like special air certified and advanced certified, so you can go deeper, all this stuff. And so basically I'm going to get more certifications this week so that I can do more of the dives when I get to Cayman with these people. So yeah. How do you get to assess stuff without blowing through the context window? Aren't the outputs huge of the tools? Well, if you're on like a Claude Max plan, I don't think you necessarily would blow through the context window if you're like looking through logs. I mean, you would, but I would think it would probably chug along just fine for a few days of stuff. Got plenty to talk about this year. No, for sure. Signed up for Patreon too. Wait, do I have a Patreon? Does my new partner have a Patreon that I'm I gotta give him shit. I didn't know he set that up. I know we talked about doing something. Yes. Do you guys want the sneak peek? Let's some of you keen eye people already know what's going on. Let's see if I can find it. Is it even searchable? Let's see. Oh, I'm like not signed into it here. Hold on. Hold on. I'll give you guys a sneak peek of something I was cooking that some of you have already figured out. All right, here's the sneak peek. You can go, oh, it does have a Patreon link. I gotta like give him some shit. How do I get my cut? All right, so for those of you who haven't figured out what I'm talking about, me and a certain somebody started a podcast, okay? And we recorded the first episode last week. I think I hinted at it last week on stream. What's up, Pirate? I was trying to figure out how to watch this on YouTube instead of X. Yeah, well, welcome. Claude makes it smoother. You hit your daily. It didn't even hit your daily limit. Yeah, cool. What's up, Small Biz? So if you guys want the like get ahead of it, here we go. We've already got some subscribers because I think low level talked about it on his channel. So low level and I recorded a podcast. We're gonna try to do it. No, we're gonna do it weekly at least. We might even up that a bit. He quit his day job recently, and we've been talking about this for a while. But he quit his day job, so he's full-time content creator now. And so, yes, this will be pushed to all podcast platforms. But obviously, we're YouTube dudes, so we're gonna make it a YouTube first thing. But we will absolutely push it to podcast platforms. But it is a video, it's a video podcast. We're gonna, we have an editor cutting it, and so there will be stuff on the screen and whatnot. But yeah, we just recorded like a rip the Band-Aid off. Like, we've been talking about it forever. We're like, let's just fucking get on and record. So here you go. That's the sneak peek. I'll even put it in chat. Obviously we'll do like a more formal launch. It's not like, not like I'm trying to keep it too much of a secret or anything. We'll do like a more formal launch and whatnot soon. But there you go. If you want to subscribe, we recorded the first episode. We haven't like solidified our format yet. We want to have guests on. You know, I've like avoided doing a podcast for quite a while. I didn't want to just be like yet another, like, you know, two floating head dudes talking to each other about stuff podcast. I feel like we're saturated on that. So we're trying to like figure out what to do. So thank you for subbing. Thank you. But I'm excited. Low Level's a legend. He's one of the other security content creators that like his day job was very in the weeds. Like he doesn't talk about his day job, which he has since left. But he's got a very impressive resume. A lot of security content creators are, you know, capital C content creators, lowercase like S security. And Low Level is certainly the opposite. He is like deep in the weeds on stuff. And so I'm excited that hopefully we can give some pretty good perspective. Technically not here, but came to say happy birthday. Thank you, Bill. Bill called me old in a roundabout way in Slack this morning. Appreciate you. Roman, what up? Bill was like, you're old, but at least you're younger, but at least compared to me or something like that. Basically called me old compared to everyone else but him. So he did self-deprecate, self-deprecate. Sorry. Jeez. What? Sup? All right. So I've just been on the Yap train this morning. Sorry I started a bit late this morning. Since it is said birthday week, my family took me out to get bagels for breakfast, so that was cool. So yeah, that's why I was a bit late. But I'm on the Yap train for sure. Morning. Yeah. So I've seen a few different numbers. Thank you, Roman. Certified UNC status becomes more certified by the day. More certified by the day, for sure. Please have finished. Okay. I got the notification from my robot vacuum. I'm dog sitting my a family member's dog, and he sheds like a mother. And so my robot vacuum is earning its paycheck this week. And every time I get that notification, I'm like, did it get stuck on a random sock somewhere? Yeah. So let's
Mythos.
Let's get into the Mythos thing. I've seen a few, like I've got like multiple headlines up that say different numbers. This says 10,000 in the first month. This says 23,000 across 1,000 OSS projects. It's yours and your son's birth weeks too. Geminis, rise up. All right, so obviously this is a big number across 1,000 OSS projects. So the reason I wanted to hone in on this article in particular was this isn't Project Glasswing, right? Which is who we've been reading about and talking about on stream a bunch, is like all of the Cloudflares and the Mozillas and the Palo Alto networks and the, you know, whoever the hell, Google is like running Mythos, and like we're seeing all these vulns come out, right? This is open source projects. So this we caught like a bit of a glimpse into when we robot vacuums getting stuck on a sock. There's man, even the robot vacuums, they get a false positive. They just get stuck, you know. The triage DOS on the vacuum is crazy. Getting all different numbers, decided to read the report right from Anthropic. Is that a thing? Glasswing initial update. Oh, is this what they're all basing this off? Did this just come out? I didn't see this. Oh yeah, it did. Okay. Thank you, Roman. This is better. The reason I was honing in on that article to begin with was we got a glimpse in this with curl, right? Like curl Anthropic came to Curl and was like, hey, we can't let you into Glasswing, but we can run Mythos against you yourself, like ourselves. And so that's kind of what I figured was going on behind the scenes at a larger scale besides Curl. We just saw Curl. So identified more than 23,000 vulns. Of these, 1,900 have been reviewed by external security firms, 1,700 confirmed, 1,000 rated high or critical. The findings are still being reviewed. They estimate, I guess, at that percentage, continuing 3,900 critical and highs would be what we were doing, which is crazy, right? 1,100 unverified bugs have been reported to vendors, 75 issues with critical or high. Number of patches is still relatively low for 3 reasons. First, we're still in the 90-day window that's set out in our coordinated vuln disclosure policy. We expect many more patches to land soon. Yeah, so basically they're following the Google precedent of we're going to give you vulns and we're going to give you 90 days, right? And then we're going to see what, then I don't know. Are they saying they're going to go public with this after the 90 days? Because that's Google's stance. I don't know if this is Anthropic's stance, but they're saying we gave a 90-day window. I don't know what the end of that 90 days looks like. Coordinated vuln disclosure policy. Second, we're likely to be undercounting patches because some vulnerabilities are patched without public advisory, which is annoying, right? This is like a new phenomenon that we're seeing, especially in open source projects. We went over this a while ago with OpenClaw. You guys remember this? GitHub security advisories. CVE. There was like a article about OpenClaw. Let's see if I can find the article. Yeah. Here. I don't think this is the right article. It's an article. So OpenClaw basically had 200 some odd GitHub security advisories against the repo. But these don't include CVEs. Thank you, SecOps, for the birthday love. So these don't include CVEs. These are just GitHub security advisories, right? And so there's like a gap here between security programs that are waiting for a CVE in order to, feed it into their vuln management system, right? And OpenClaw basically stood up and was like, we don't care. What's a CVE? Not our problem. Like, we know what these vulns are. Like, we're not worried about it, right? This is kind of like a new phenomenon here, right? That like we're going to have a bunch of open source projects, get vulnerability reports, and then just like fix them. And then we never find any like official information out about it. Speaking of OpenClaw, what happened to that bot named after a tablet in here? Haven't seen it since it went wild. Galaxy Tab? Is that the chatter Galaxy Tab? Is that what you're talking about? We think that was a bot? I don't think so. I don't think it was a bot. I think it was a interesting individual. Would always come in here promoting their own blog, right? Read my blog. Yeah, I don't know. It's been a while. You're right. Now I'm scared that we invoked it. It's going to show up. In those cases, we're relying on scanning for the patches ourselves using Claude. So like Anthropic's basically saying, we then need to re-scan everything that we found vulns in to see if there was a diff and a patch that came unannounced. Third, the low volume of patches reflects a genuine problem. Even at our relatively slow pace of disclosures, Mythos preview is adding an already overloaded security system. Yeah, I think that's probably the actual salient point, right? We were not hurting for a number of vulnerabilities. We were not like, oh man, I wish I could only find more vulnerabilities. No one ever said that. No one was like, please, If I could go from like 20 vulnerabilities reported to me a month to like 600 vulnerabilities reported to me a month, that would just be swell. No one has ever said that, right? We were not hurting for number of vulnerabilities, and we were kind of finely tuned towards like whatever we could handle. Some security teams were tuned towards what they could handle. Most weren't. Most were already drowning, right? Which means nothing to give us a starting point to threat hunt on. Otherwise, yeah, exactly. Anthropic recently unveiled Claude Security. In response to the surge in AI-powered vulnerability discovery, they unveiled Claude Security, a code-based scanner designed to help... What? This doesn't make any sense. In response to the surge in vuln discovery, we made another tool that did vuln discovery. That's not in response to the surge of. That's just more surge. That's just the surge. That doesn't make any sense. This would make sense if it was like in response to the surge of AI-powered vuln discovery, Anthropic started fixing all the vulns for everybody. Would be like the good, like holy shit at the end of that sentence. This is just, hey, you know that surge that's happening? Here's another tool under a different name that we're not sure how is different than any of the other tools that find vulnerabilities, but it's branded different and it's still a fucking surge, right? We couldn't find a problem to solve, so we made one and we made the solution to buy both. Yeah, that's like my one kind of issue with Anthropic's stuff that they're calling like threat intelligence reports is like their answer to it is like, well, the defenders must just need to use us too. And that's just like, all right, you're sticking the landing in a weird way. Yeah, no, kind of weird. I am recording an interview today. Sorry, I just want to check my calendar really quick. Wait, this is the wrong Google account. Damn, I like signed into the wrong Google account once on this browser like weeks ago. And since then, it's just been like stuck on like the wrong default Google account, which is so annoying. Come on, give me fucking this guy. No. See, I switched. Yeah, there. Sorry, I just want to make sure I'm on. I know what time I gotta run. Okay, at 2 o'clock, I gotta go interview Mr. H.D. Moore, founder and creator of Metasploit. I'm recording an interview with him for YouTube this afternoon about some shit. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure that wasn't at like noon. All right. The rest of this is just news articles. So let's go into here. So like I said, I sometimes have a bit of an issue with some of these reports because they're like, well, if only the defenders used the superpowered AI,
Mythos!
then every problem would be solved, right? And it's like, I get it. They are a vendor at the end of the day, right? Anthropic is not like doing things out of the good of their heart, right? Holy shit, that's a big interview. I should be like feeling more excited about it. HD Moore lives in Austin and I see him fairly regularly. So like the like, oh shit, this guy wrote Metasploit, like has like washed over me. He's like still that guy though. He runs a new company called Run Zero. He's been running it for a few years. And like a large portion of the code of Run Zero, which is like a big company at this point, is still written by HD Moore. He's like still that guy. Like he's still that guy. He's a legend, man. But he's here. He's local. So we like, I don't know, we get to hang out a lot. So it's a benefit of Austin is we've got some cool people here. So, but yes, Run Zero is sponsoring VulnU, and they wanted to do some YouTube stuff. And I said, hey, the best sponsored stuff on YouTube is like, instead of me just like yapping about your product, is like you come on and be your smart self, right? Like that that iOS video that I did of the iOS exploits, that was a sponsored video by that company. And I'm like, you guys are legends who found this iOS exploit. Just come talk about it. Better than me just like doing a commercial about your product, right? And so that's like where I'm trying to push sponsors. It's just like, hey, you have smart people. I'm not a billboard. Like, I can ask you smart questions about your smart people. So that's what we're doing this afternoon. So I was just talking to my editor because we recorded that iOS one on Google Meets, which is just not the way to do it. So I'm trying to like set up Riverside to like properly get everything going so we can get like better footage. You saw the Pope thing? Is the Pope running Butlerian jihad? Can you please explain what a Butlerian jihad is? What is a Butlerian jihad? I did see the Pope stuff. Run Zero is awesome. Don't like how they tag something as internet exposed. Explain. I'll give him shit about it. Ellipsis. Yeah, their tool does look pretty sick. The one thing I tell him is like, if I didn't talk to him personally, I wouldn't know a lot of the cool stuff that they're doing. And so I'm like, you guys got to be like screaming shit louder on LinkedIn or something. What was it? Mongo Bleed? They found Mongo Bleed before anyone else did. And they like had it out like 8-9 days before their nearest competitor. I'm like, guys, fucking scream this from the rooftops. Like, what are you doing? Anyway, this live stream is not sponsored by Run Zero, so I don't need to be glazing them. But I just was like having this conversation with him. I'm like, come on, dude. Like, look at Socket. Socket's fucking screaming about how fast they find everything all over social media. So like, we all know how fast Socket is, you know? Butlerian Jihad is from Dune, where they ban thinking machines. I have to redo. I have started the book Dune 3 times. Does anyone else have this experience? Like, is Dune like kind of hard? Like, it's probably worth it, but like, it's a hard read, you know? Because they start using a bunch of words that are like Dune words, like really early, with like very little like help at like building it up and like walking you through it, right? They're just like, I don't know. I always find myself like a couple hours in going like, what is a Bene Gesserit or something? You know what I mean? Like, I always like I'm like, wait, what is this major concept that they're talking about? Maybe it's just like reading comprehension problem exists between chair and keyboard here. Oh, Lord of the Rings. I read Lord of the Rings basically every year. You guys know this, right? My pocket. Some people have a pocket Constitution. Some people have a pocket Bible. I have a pocket Lord of the Rings and Hobbit. Okay. Very, very cool. Very cool. Yeah. We do like. I mean, I have Elvish tattooed all the way up my arm, you know, like, yeah, I agree. Lord of the Rings is better. John Hammond. Good morning, Mr. Matt. You're a listening source while I eat cinnamon rolls for breakfast. John, I salute you. Everyone in chat say, John, enjoy your cinnamon rolls. John, did you see the exciting thing that I announced? Hey, as I was about to show it, look who showed up. I was about to tease it. John, did you see the thing that me and Low Level did? Looky. What up, Ed? I did tease the podcast early on stream, Ed. I don't know. The secret's getting out. Here's the secret. We recorded our first episode. So Ed, you're going to laugh. Someone in chat already was like, yo, I signed up for your Patreon. And I was like, I have a Patreon? I had no idea that you did this already. Editor should have it done this week. Then we're going to promote. Yeah. So we'll officially launch. But the first episode's coming out this week. We were hoping by tomorrow, right? So, and then, hey, Ed, we got to record again this week. You let me know when we want to record. Um, and the other thing that we got to do is, you want to do Friday again? Okay, cool. Can do it. Yeah. The other thing we got to do is set up like our live stream OBS thing. So we can live stream when we record podcasts, but it would also be cool for you to just like pop in here right now for a sec. And John, you are very welcome to be third wheel. This is the joke that I make when like John and Ed and then like me are in like a conversation. Like I'm in a chat with John and like Network Chuck and someone else. I'm in a chat. So, okay, this is a perfect example. Here's John and Low Level are in my chat. I'm like, there are over 2 million YouTube subscribers in my YouTube chat right now. Or John, do you already have 2 million? And like now it's like actually 3 million? Because I know, Ed, you have just over 1 million now, right? What does John have now? John's at 2.4. We have over 3 million YouTube subscribers between the three of us. We have over 3 million YouTube subscribers with everyone but me too. This is the joke I like to make. It's like, oh yeah, I'm launching a podcast with Ed. We have over 1 million YouTube subscribers together. He has over 1 million without me, but we have over 1 million together. I made that joke in that chat with Network Chuck too, right? I was like, oh, there's 4 million YouTube subscribers in this chat. I mean, it's all Chuck, but legends in chat this morning. Eating cinnamon rolls. Yeah, one of these things is not like the other one. It's like, why do these guys let me hang out with them? I'm not sure. Their paycheck is in the mail. I just like slide envelopes of dollar bills across the table, and then John and Ed let me hang out with them. You're out meeting with the CTO and CISO. What up? Cool. Legends in chat. It doesn't take much to ADD me off rails. So John eating cinnamon rolls was pretty low bar there. Ketchup chips seem sad versus cinnamon rolls. Later, Brandon. I have a local friend who's a sourdough baker who makes me cinnamon rolls out of her sourdough recipe, and I just can't even explain to you how good they are. Just like fresh dough, like made cinnamon rolls. She gives me them unbaked, and then I bake them. Oh my gosh, they're so good. All right. Who has read this page so far? Is it marketing or is it like really good intel? Can anyone tell me if this is marketing or good intel that I'm about to get myself into? A little bit of both, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. All right. The software industry's longstanding convention is disclose new vulnerabilities 90 days after they're discovered, or if a patch is created before the 90 days is up, around 45 days after the patch becomes available. This allows time. Our own coordinated vulnerability takes this approach. Okay, so that answers my question from the news article, right? Is that they're gonna give 90 days to these people who's engaged in making progress towards a fix. The 90-day deadline approaches. We may grant a 14-day extension. Okay, so Anthropic is going to publicly disclose the vulnerabilities that Mythos finds within 90 days. They may grant a 2-week extension request if the vendor is like acting in good faith and are just kind of slow, right? For actively exploited crits, we target a 7-day timeline for patch or mitigation. If the maintainer is actively working on a fix, we can grant 7 extra days. I think that's fair, right? You don't want to do 90 days on actively exploited stuff. That makes a lot of sense, especially like CISA is going to want to send alerts out. When finding reflects an ecosystem-wide pattern affecting many projects, we aim to notify affected parties and give every maintainer the information. Okay. This is a good page. I'm glad they put this page up. Not everyone agrees with this approach, but this is kind of the industry, at least like general best effort, coordinated disclosure kind of thing. This means that disclosed vulnerabilities are a lagging indicator And so time is a flat circle. They're saying that we're still in the early part of a 90 days since Mythos came out. You could have told me that Mythos came out 100 days ago, and I would have believed you with a straight face. We're still in the early days of the 90-day window of Mythos coming out, and finding vulns is insane to me. When did Mythos come out? When did they start finding these vulnerabilities? This is nuts. All right, so Glasswing's initial partners. So we already read all the stuff. This Cloudflare blog, if you haven't read it, probably one of my favorite blogs that I read this year so far, talking about their vulnerability discovery harness and their experience in Project Glasswing. Mozilla, same thing. Is doing fantastic transparency about how they're using this stuff. Expo, I take everything that Expo says with a much, 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 much bigger grain of salt than the like Cloudflares and Mozillas of the world. Did you miss John? I think John's probably still here eating some cinnamon rolls, unless he literally just said, I'm eating cinnamon rolls and then left, which is very possible. So Expo being like a security vendor who sells AI pen testing services, like Cloudflare and Mozilla have very little to gain. Yeah, see, Roman John's still here. Cloudflare and Mozilla have very little to gain when it comes to talking about Mythos stuff. You know what I mean? Like there is some branding and marketing and like stuff like that. Like, oh, look, we take security seriously. We're at the forefront. You know what I mean? So it's not like a zero value for Cloudflare and Mozilla to say. It's not like completely selfless that they're just like, oh, you know, we're just being transparent for whatever. It's not that, but they don't really they're not selling AI pen testing services, right? They're not selling AI pen testing services. So, but Expo is. So like, and I'm not saying Expo is like a bad faith actor, right? They do have some legitimate security researchers on staff. You just need to kind of take the person slinging AI pen testing services at like Anthropic and OpenAI fall into this bucket now as well. They have security offerings now as well. So anyone that's selling AI security offerings, talking about how crazy AI is for like finding security stuff, just like know that they're selling it, right? That being said, the data is the data. And I'm not saying they're like wrong. You just do have to take a lot of this with a grain of salt. So I remember reading, this came out maybe 2 weeks ago, right? Expo's like own evaluations in their harness, but with Mythos. It's kind of interesting to me that Expo got access to Mythos. You know what I mean? They're not a critical infrastructure thing. I guess they're probably just a really high paying partner of Anthropic because they were probably using the shit out of Anthropic as part of their product. So they're in their good graces because they're cutting a big fat check is what I'm guessing, right? And maybe Anthropic just saw them as like a strategic partner. And then, yeah, obviously Mythos graphs go up and to the right is like what we're obviously seeing every time Mythos in a graph exists. It's up and to the right. All right. Expo said Mythos preview is a significant step up in all existing models. Yeah, up and to the right. Exploit Bench and Jim said a bunch of cool stuff. What's Bench? I know Exploit Jim. We've gone over Exploit Jim on chat. I don't think I saw this. So the interesting part about Exploit Jim is, didn't the Microsoft harness actually surpass Mythos? Oh, it's just not exploitjim.com. Exploit Jim. What is the website for Exploit Jim? What is my disease? Isn't there... Oh, this is like an academic paper. Huh? Wasn't there a website? We talked about it on the podcast. What's the exploit gym? Oh, is it Cyber Gym? Am I just confusing two different things? It is. I'm confusing a few different things. Sorry. So Cyber Gym puts Mythos up here, but it's actually putting M dash higher than it. This is success rate on the y-axis here. So Mythos and GPT-5.5 are close, which is crazy because you have access to GPT-5.5. Mythos is like super secret behind the walled garden. You have 5.5, like you all have 5.5 if you have like $20, right? And then Kimi K2, GLM5. GLM51 is the interesting one because it's an open weight model and it's like kind of up in the conversation up here, right? And success rate is success of exploitation. This is not success of identifying vulnerabilities, which is a major, major, major difference, right? I think all of these have shown success in finding vulnerabilities. You just get into this upper, like, you know, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like this upper like 5 is when you can really, really, really start to like feel the, oh, it's chaining together vulnerabilities and building exploits and all this kind of stuff, right? Will AI finally make Windows a good operating system? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. The answer is no, right? It's still just a gaming platform. Where did I go? I didn't open this in a new tab. Is that what happened? I didn't. Okay. All right. The section that I was more interested about was this open source software section, right? Because we kind of have read all that shit by Cloudflare, Mozilla, Palo Alto. Palo Alto said they released 5 times as many patches as usual since they joined Glasswing. Microsoft has reported the number of new patches they'll release will continue trending larger for some time. Oracle is fixing vulnerabilities. Yeah, everyone got a better widget, right? But the open source one is the thing that's super interesting because I think we're going to be fighting this battle for quite a while. So the thing that we all have to realize about open source, right? Hold on. If I was Primogen, I would start drawing on the screen right now. XKCD. Okay, the thing, I should memorize this XKCD number. I would have just drawn this, right? If I was a better streamer. The thing that we do have to realize about like everything we're talking about from now on in this open source section is this picture, right? We all have seen this before. Boop, 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 boop. This encapsulates why this is a big deal. Because everything that we're talking about in terms of open source packages is this little Jenga block right here, right? All modern digital infrastructure lays upon a project some random person in Nebraska has been thanklessly maintaining for free since 2003, right? The Unix operating systems are just built on this stuff. We can literally find Wikipedia articles of this in of why this is an issue. For if you look at like the XEUtils thing, right? Where's the security backdoor incident? The XEUtils package was maintained by one guy. It was on every Unix system, and a state-backed threat actor gained the trust of this developer by helping them out and committing real code for months, and then put a backdoor in this thing, right? This is what we're talking about when we talk about, like, this is why I'm honing in on this part of the article. So a lot of open source software is maintained without a budget. Not every, right? Not every open source software has no stuff. Like you have curl, and we got the Daniel Stenberg article, talks about his experience with Mythos. obviously, curl has a much more robust security program as shown by this, right? This isn't one guy. I mean, Daniel is kind of the guy, but curl has like a mature security infrastructure around it, right? Rather than some of these other alternatives that we could be talking about. But not everything is curl. You have a ton of stuff in this bucket that is just everywhere, that just doesn't get any security love or smarts or brains. So the fact that we can then all of a sudden unleash Mythos onto this ecosystem is a net good thing, but will be painful for quite a while. Like, here's some more evidence of why this is so, why we're honing in on this so much. DARPA, the US government, literally put up millions of dollars in prize money over years to get the security community to build tools that specifically were made to find and fix vulnerabilities in open source software, especially open source software used in critical infrastructure, right? 2-year competition, bringing together the best and brightest in AI and cybersecurity to safeguard software critical to all Americans, which they were. If you went and like looked at this competition, they were scanning like, I think it was like 72 open source projects that DARPA flagged as these open source pieces of software are critical infrastructure. The shit runs like on fucking hydroelectric dams and, you know, the food delivery supply chain and blah, 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 right? It's like OpenSSL, right? OpenSSL is everywhere. So like DARPA was like, we're going to put up millions of dollars in prizes to try to get people to build tools that in order to enter this competition, you had to open source whatever you built. So all these tools were open sourced. And they were to find and fix. They couldn't just find because, again, you've got this little guy down here. So if you just found tools that were like better at finding vulnerabilities in open source, what are you doing? You're just throwing a bunch of vulnerability reports at this random person in Nebraska. What does this have anything to do with it, right? What do I think of OpenAI's new model compared to Mythos? Well, I don't have access to either of them, but I do have access. Oh, my face is blocking this. Sorry, guys. I didn't see that my face was blocking this earlier. Let me mini me myself. So this is the data that I have comparing those models, right? So we've got, what's up, Yash, by the way? Good to see you. We've got like the comparisons to some of the models. So Mythos, this is success percentage rate on exploiting finding and building exploits on vulnerabilities, right? So Mythos is up here. Microsoft recently put out this new harness that's using multiple models under the hood, and they're calling it M-Dash. I don't have access to this yet. I'm hoping to get my hands on it. GPT-5.5 is right up there, 81% versus 83%. So I think GPT-5.5 is definitely in the conversation when it comes to success rate on finding and fixing these things, right? How many AI create those vulnerabilities while pushing code to GitHub? No, I think the data is showing that a lot of these AI coding agents are going to commit significantly less vulnerabilities nowadays on the most recent models than like humans did, right? I think early on that was the case, but I think now, especially if you're using like a coding harness, like Claude Code itself is a coding harness, you know? And then you can start to build skills that like self-reference themselves. So it's like going to write code and then it's going to check its own code for vulnerabilities. And it's demonstrably good at finding vulnerabilities in code. And so it's going to make sure that its own vulns don't go out, right? So sorry I'm bouncing all over the place. I just really want to set the stage of why I'm honing in on this part versus like Cloudflare and Mozilla, which is super cool. Like this Cloudflare blog, again, was my favorite blog that I read this year, right? Fantastic. transparency into how they built their harness. And I think everyone should be copying them in Mozilla and building your own harness to run this stuff on your network. I have some friends that disagree. I have some friends that think that most people shouldn't be building their own harness and should just use some of the harnesses that are out there. And he points to Claude Code and he says Claude Code's actually a harness. And I don't call Claude Code a harness, but he convinced me. I'm like, oh, I guess it kind of is, right? Brings in the context management and the skills ecosystems, and you can run multiple sub agents and all this kind of shit. It's like, it's kind of what a harness does, right? So I get it. All right. So this is I made that major side quest to kind of explain why I'm interested in this open source part, right? Because Anthropic is now like the $1 trillion elephant in the room, right? They've got basically infinite money to burn, and they have the incentive. To like come and help the open source community with its security issues because it's like proving the efficacy of their tool. So they are actually legitimately incentivized to help out here, which is rare, right? One of the main problems in securing open source is there's not a lot of incentive. They don't have a budget. You know, that random project maintainer in Nebraska isn't about to go pay some security company to help them maintain the thing. I've seen arguments that this is why there should be bigger government subsidies. There's some like grants and shit, but why there should be bigger government subsidies to helping maintain any of these open source projects that they consider critical infrastructure or could be deemed critical infrastructure. I could see that argument. But now we have a private sector company that is incentivized to some degree to flex their new shiny product. Let's call it what it is, a product, right? To actually help out the open source software community. Because the other thing that they want to avoid, besides they want to flex that their product is good, the other thing that they want to avoid is being the product that launches into the world and causes a disaster because of like it's finding so many open source vulnerabilities that like weren't found before or whatever, right? And then all of a sudden you get like to that true, the AI has escaped the lab and like
Mythos.
And Mythos is going to do whatever, you know? But we're not there. We're not there yet. All right. So the other interesting part that I would love to know here, and maybe Anthropic will talk about this more in the future, but when we go over the Mozilla and Cloudflare blogs that we talked about like extensively last week on stream, they are pretty transparent about their harness and their process, about how they're discovering vulnerabilities with these tools. And then you've got a lot of companies that are like, yeah, we found some vulns, but like whatever. But then they don't talk about their harness and stuff. So I wonder if that's actually a sign of why they're not talking about the great success that they're having with the new models, is maybe they're just not using it properly, right? Because even Mozilla and Cloudflare are coming out and saying, hey, if we just say, hey, AI, go find vulnerabilities in this repo, their success is pretty limited. But if they build this whole, should I just pull up the fucking the Cloudflare post that I just keep referencing? I should. All right, so this is the CISO of Cloudflare talking about their experience here. And what I want to point out is they talk about how telling the model to find vulnerabilities in this repo makes it wander. Telling it, look for command injection in this function, and also here's some trust boundaries and some architecture diagrams and prior coverage of this area. All of a sudden, the thing starts to act like a security researcher. So what I'm wondering is the teams that are like having mediocre results in Project Glasswing, do they just not have the security apparatus that Cloudflare and Mozilla does? Because Mozilla was pointing to blogs in 2021 talking about their fuzzing infrastructure, and it looks a whole lot like an AI security harness. They just were using fuzzers. So they just injected steroids into their harness, basically. And of course, they were super successful. Right? So I'm actually wondering if the teams that are having less success, if they're just not doing it right. If they just don't have this, look at the detail of how Cloudflare is utilizing this. So they're not saying that Mythos is magic, right? They're saying, hey, we've built this like pretty extensive harness to like do recon, do the actual vulnerability hunt, validate the findings that the vulnerability hunt actually does, which by the way is like spidering of sub-agents, maybe 50 at once, fanning out, doing exploration. Each hunter has access to tools and compile it. It can run proof of concept code. Then we're going to actually validate and dedupe and then trace it if it's even exploitable and then give feedback on the whole thing. And this is like a self-referential loop before we even report a vulnerability. This is like absolute cutting edge shit right here, everybody. If I could like Neo the Matrix plug into the back of all of your brains and we all know how to do the things that they're doing on this blog post, this is like what I would do for all of us right now, right? And so my concern is, and why I keep like side questing, is the open source teams don't have that. The open source community doesn't have this, doesn't have a team of crack security engineers that are highly paid and rewarded to build shit like this for Cloudflare for years, right? So what is Anthropic doing when Anthropic is just running Mythos at open source software, you know, as part of this project? Because they haven't really come out and been like, well, here's the harness, right? Carlini went on stage and unprompted and talked a little bit about like their harness, but that was pre-Mythos. And I don't know if that's the same level of treatment that these open source projects are getting, or if that's their own shit that they're doing to themselves, you know? I understand that they're eating their own dog food and Anthropic is trying to find their own vulnerabilities, but are they giving that same full like harness treatment to any of the open source tools that they're trying to help out? I do not know the answer to that question. Vol, your time is now. Save the open source community. Yeah, I'll get right on that. I do have a thing I'm trying to build to help with the supply chain stuff in open source. It's like a pretty minor thing, but I'm hoping I can just like put it out as like, I don't know, a freemium little open source thing. But I don't know. We'll see if I can actually. I'm not a very good developer, but I'm trying to like, you know, code my way out of a paper bag with it. Colin says, this is stuff I end up doing. I ask Claude to do something. When it works, I get it to explain the steps and then spending another several chats trying to convert that into what it did into reusable code. I have an entire folder on my desktop. It's just orchestration. Chef's kiss, Colin. This is exactly what you should be doing, right? You should be translating things that you do repeatedly and that works with Claude into skills at the very least, right? Is there a word for this? A word for what? For what we're talking about? I mean, maybe it's like prompt engineering, agentic engineering. I mean, you're kind of creating your own harness extension there, right? With like your own skills library and your own sub-agents and your own orchestration. It's kind of a harness, right? Harness is being overused a little bit right now, but you know, kind of there, right? All right. So I don't know. So like the numbers that they're talking about in this open source findings, I just don't know if like these are representative of like real world, you know? Say OpenSSL had the team that built this harness build this for OpenSSL. Would that be different? Would we get a different result than whatever the hell Anthropic is doing? You know, I don't think we have enough information to answer that. 6,200 higher critical out of 23,000 vulnerabilities in open source software. Anthropic has used Mythos Preview to scan more than 1,000 open source projects that underpin much of the internet. A bunch of highs and criticals, whatever, right? In addition to those, it's found for Glasswing partners to be clear, we intend to continue scanning open source code for some time, so we expect this number to rise. Yeah, obviously. One example of an open source library Mythos Preview detected was in Wolf SSL, right? This is like an open SSL alternative that's fairly popular, I think, right? an open source crypto library. It's known for its security and it's used by billions of devices worldwide. Mythos preview constructed an exploit. Yeah, we talked about this when it came out, right? Yeah, this was a month ago. Ancient history that would let an attacker forge certificates that would, for instance, allow them to host a fake website for a bank or email provider. The website would look perfectly legitimate to an end user despite being controlled by the attacker. Yeah. Are these confirmed bugs or just what the reports from Mythos say? They have some delineation, right? They say more than 1,100 are unverified. What do they say? 1,700 have been confirmed by external security firms. 1,900 have been reviewed by external security firms, and 1,700 of those 1,900 were confirmed. So these open source ones are confirmed findings, Ed. Do we know if Linus T has access to Mythos? I do not know. But not skills. You're doing this in a combination of TypeScript, not markdown files dressed up like skills. Yeah, I would suggest doing some skills. It does make sense that you could just codify. Like that's Marcus Hutchins's take on things, right? Is LLMs will mess up whatever they can mess up. And so do in code what you can do in code and only use LLMs when like they're helpful. So yeah, I guess these 1,700 findings are verified, have now been carefully assessed by one of 6 independent security research firms or by ourselves. 90% of them, 1,500, have proved to be valid true positives. 1,000 of them confirmed either high or critical. Anything older than 2 days is ancient history. I know, man. Sometimes I make a video on Instagram and my comments are like, man, you're slow. And I'm like, fuck off, man. You get what you pay for on Instagram when it comes to threat intel, bro. Like, point me to the other videos that anyone's made on this topic yet. Spoiler alert, they don't exist. I'm out there. I'm out there doing the damn thing basically by myself. All right. One example of an open source. We talked about this. The bottleneck in fixing bugs like these is human capacity to triage reports and by design deploy patches for them. Yeah. So this is, I like to bring up, it's even, oh my God, it's in my browser history now at this point. Trail of Bits, I think, is probably fair to assume they're one of those 6 external security vendors that Anthropic uses for stuff, because Trail of Bits just finds themselves in these kinds of positions. But they do some open source engagements, and they now have kind of a mantra that I think that should be widely adopted, right? So they say, if you maintain an open source project, here's the things that you should do to help us help you, help the security company, help the security community help you. Because if you maintain an open source project and you do these things, you're likely to get, instead of just vulnerabilities thrown over the fence, Trail of Bits is saying every report we send includes a POC, a fix, and a regression test. So if you're the open source maintainer, they say, hey, publish a security MD so that we can get you the report the way that you want the report. Set a high bar to submissions, because not everyone is Trail of Bits and not everyone's going to do this whole thing. Even Google isn't doing this, right? Google's just throwing reports over the fence. So Trail of Bits is set a high bar, require a POC, a fix, and a regression test. Build a validation harness. So this whole section of the thing, so you get a report with a POC and everything. What's your validation, deduping, tracing, and feedback harness look like for your own tool? Right? And then sandbox those harnesses, because holy shit, if you're just going to run a bunch of code that comes in a GitHub PR, you're in for a bad time. You're in for a bad time. You're in for a bad time. If GitHub PRs come across and you're like, great, let me suck this into my harness and start running some shit. Guess what? You're about to run some untrusted code. But I think this is the way. This is the future. This is the future. So this is kind of what they're saying. In the Anthropic report, the bottleneck is fixing bugs because you have to triage them. Well, you don't have to triage them if you build a harness that can do a lot of the triage for you that you can trust. Big asterisk caveat. Can you trust the harness to validate and triage? It sounds like they don't even do that fully here at Anthropic, right? These are human verified reports. So, but there is a bit of a, you could probably help yourself out here. Our process for triaging vulns is intensive. First, we or one of the external security firms we work with reproduce the issue that Mythos has found. Once we've confirmed that vulnerability is real, we check for whether there are already fixes in place. We write a detailed report to the software maintainers. We take considerable care here. On top of the regular challenges of maintaining open source software, maintainers have been facing a deluge of low-quality AI-generated bug reports. Several maintainers have told us they're currently severely capacity constrained, and some have even asked us to slow down our rate of disclosures because they need more time to design patches. Yeah, this makes sense. This makes sense. This is what I'm saying. This is going to be a net positive. It has to be a net positive, but it's going to be painful in the meantime, man. These cybersec AI are helping hard in open source projects. Yeah, that's why it's going to be a net positives. I don't know how to say your name. Ahen? Can I say Ahen? I like how they self-up their standard and advise all of us to do the same. Yeah, I agree. I will give kudos to Anthropic that they are entering this whole thing, like setting their own standard and then sticking to it, right? They've got the whole vuln disclosure timeline thing down. They realize that they're spamming people with bug reports, so they're giving high quality bug reports. They could be going about this much worse. I mean, Google themselves went about this much worse, right? Like, do you guys remember this drama from back in the fall? Like, FFmpeg basically was like, yo, Google is sending over CVE slop, is what they called it to us, right? And they just said, like, hey, Google's AI tool is finding vulnerabilities and just like sending stuff over the fence. Yeah, here you go. The overused thing. And FFmpeg was like, hey, how about you send a fucking patch instead of just the bug report? And Google was like, we're security researchers. We send security findings over. That's what we do. You guys fix it. And it was like, hey, here's this debate that we've long had about security and developers and all this kind of shit, right? So I do find it a bit refreshing that like Trail of Bits is coming out here, Anthropic is coming out here saying, hey, we're going to find a whole lot of fucking reports of vulnerabilities. We might as well do the right thing and send patches and high quality reports and all this kind of stuff. What's up, Justin? What's up, Walrus? Always a fun day in security. How did Google go about it? I mean, they just send reports over, right? Google had a whole team. What was their thing called? Big Sleep? All right. Their whole thing was called, I think it was called Big Sleep. This was their, like, Google DeepMind focused specifically on finding security vulnerabilities. Was like, this was their whole thing. But like this tool, Big Sleep, was just generating these CVEs, no patches, and just sending stuff over the fence. And this is, therein lied the debate, right? Therein lied the debate, because FFmpeg kind of memed their way through that conversation. We're like, we're just a team of volunteers. We don't. Could you please? Hey, multi-trillion-dollar company, could you please? Could you please help a brother out? All right. Are we AI pilled enough for the day? Did we get to the end of this Anthropic report? This is an interesting graphic. Here's the graphic I'll put in my newsletter this week. Oh, let me make myself smaller. Boop, boop. 23,000 is the big headline number, right? But they're slowly reviewing them, whittling out false positives. So 1,100 straight to the maintainers at their request. We don't know if those are false positive or not. 1,900 of the 23,000 is what they got through so far in terms of validating. 1,700 of those 1,900 confirmed valid. Of those 1,700, 467 so far have been reported to maintainers. That's strange. Why haven't all 1,700? Because they're worried about spamming them. This is the 1,100 plus the 467 to get down here. 1,400 of those acknowledged by the maintainers, and then 97 of those got patches released, and only 88 of those 97 actually had public security advisories. So some of those got paid close to the chest, right? It's an interesting graphic. Models with similar skills will soon be more broadly available. I mean, GPT-5.5 is already probably in the realm of similar here, right? I would think. 6, 7. Streamer said the funny number. Software developers, users should act now to reduce their exposure risks. Basically, they're like, hey, shit's coming. You're standing down the barrel of the gun. Are you doing stuff or are you not? Because this is the new reality. Supporting the... Okay, the rest of this is marketing, right? The numbers were the numbers. The rest of this is marketing. What is next for Glasswing? At present, no company, including Anthropic, has developed safeguards strong enough to prevent such models from being misused and potentially causing severe harm. This is the part where I'm just not sure I agree with the take, right? This is the part where I'm like, are we overhyping this for a marketing standpoint here, right? Because I'm of the camp that based on, where's that graph that I had? Did I lose it? I lost it. Oh no, here. Based on this, we already currently have Mythos capable level models are already out. GPT-5.5 is out. GLM 5.1 is an open weight model. Like Opus 4.6, they didn't even put 4.7 on here, is like not a step change difference, right? So like them saying, hey, at present, no company has safeguards enough strong enough to prevent models from causing severe harm, it's like, well, then we're already there. Like, we're already fucked, right? Like, I don't know. What do you think about this part? Again, this feels very like
Mythos
to me, right? Like very, oh no, it's gonna escape the lab. What up, David? We're talking through this whole thing. It's like, I think the 23,000 number is just in open source software. Like about 1,000 open source projects that they scanned, they found 23,000 vulns. So far, they're working through them. They validated about 1,700 of them are true positives, and we've only got 97 of them patched. So like, we've got a lot of work to do. There's a lot of pain still to come down the pipe. I don't know. I don't know where I feel about this, right? I'll be clear. I think Anthropic believes this. I don't think that Anthropic, I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at this through rose-colored glasses. I don't think Anthropic is saying this purely for marketing. I think they truly do believe it. I think a lot of the people out in the frontier model land like are nervous about what the capabilities that are coming out. But I think that the model, like I think Mythos capable, like Mythos level security capabilities that would quote unquote cause severe harm are already out there. I think Mythos is better at actually developing the exploits and the POCs for sure. But I don't know. I think if you're a company that doesn't have strong enough safeguards to prevent these models causing severe harm to you, you're already cooked. I think you're already cooked. You know? I think you're already cooked if you truly believe that. Like, these things are out there already. It's why we began Glasswing. If similarly capable model is released without such safeguards, it will soon be dramatically cheaper and easier for almost anyone in the world to exploit flawed software. I think this is already true. And this is like, the keynote I'm about to give in a few weeks is about this. The commoditization of the nation state attacker is like the name of my keynote that I'm working on. I think we're already here. Like, I think we're already here. Like, we had, Karuna was self-described as a $40 million iOS exploit chain by the researchers who found it to me. And we're already seeing it being used in fucking NPM attacks. This is nation state level shit being like repurposed in like random NPM crypto spam like exploits. I think we're already there. I think it is already dramatically cheaper for anyone to write exploits. I think it still takes skill. I don't think we're quite at like, yo, AI, go write me an iOS exploit kit. Make no mistakes, right? You still kind of need to know what you're doing. The harness creation is still super important. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? All right, next we'll work with critical partners to expand Glasswing. Once we develop the far stronger safeguards we need, we look forward to making Mythos class model available for general release. They specifically said they would never do that when Mythos came out. They were like, we don't envision ever ever releasing this GA. On the far side of these risks, there's an encouraging world available to us, one in which important code is hardened far better than it is today, and in which hacking is far less prevalent. There are many obstacles, but we're nonetheless confident that Glasswing could help us get there. All right. I mean, good post. Yo, AI, write a back button for iOS. Yeah, right. I use DeepSeek for dev work every day. It's like 1/50th to 1/100th the price, and it isn't noticeably worse than GPT, Opus, etc. Yeah, we're at a race to the bottom for sure, Sky. This is what I've been saying, right? I think we're months, not years, from Opus 4.7 or Mythos level stuff in the open models. I think Kimi K3 is not noticeably different than Opus 4.7. Maybe it's K4, and maybe it's 9 months from now. K3 is probably 3 months from now. K4 might be 9 months from now. You know what I mean? Like, I think the open models are just gonna mow this over. We're never going to get GA Mythos because it'll never live up to the hype. Yeah. It's probably right. That's probably right. So they're saying, you know what? You're right. They're saying, once we've developed far stronger safeguards, we look forward to making Mythos class models. So not Mythos. So we're never going to release Mythos, but something in the class of Mythos is what we'll release to the public, and that's going to be their way to get around that, you know. All right, I'm going to go with that post was not marketing for the most part. It got there. It did a fair bit of marketing, but of course it did. But no, that was good data. I you know what? And I kind of believe the data. All right. I'm going to say it. I believe the data. I know a lot of people are like, take everything with Anthropic's putting out like with a grain of salt. I kind of believe the numbers. If they've got 6 different external security partners verifying those results, I think it would be too hard to fudge this data at this point. And I think that with the amount of stuff coming out of Cloudflare and Mozilla, and we're in the same realm of numbers that Cloudflare and Mozilla are seeing with their Glasswing stuff, and they have no incentive to gas this up, I believe the numbers, okay? Again, it's not the, like, you know,
Mythos!
gonna escape the lab and hack everything, right? Vulnerabilities in code like this that Mythos or Good find are just one class of ways that people can exploit, one class of ways that people can hack. This is not like the security is over or whatever. Vulnerabilities have always existed. They were always one avenue into something. There are many other avenues, and there are many types of vulnerabilities that I think, at least demonstratably so far, AI is not as superpowered at finding. But there is a bunch of stuff that AI seems to be really good at finding, you know, specifically like memory bugs in old memory safe languages. Considering your SaltCon. Informational post with a marketing twist. And listen, I can hold my nose on all of that, all right? I understand marketing makes the world go round. I get it. I can hold my nose at a bunch of it. All right. So there's a few other supply chain things I want to talk about before we wrap for the day. So we've got this other one. Again, guess who? Socket, talking about this Crates.io bit. It's a trapdoor crypto stealer, so it's a little bit different than the worms that we've been seeing. It's both npm and PyPy and Crates.io. The campaign Socket is tracking as trapdoor, 34 malicious packages, 384 versions. But it's a crypto stealer. It targets developers in the crypto and DeFi, Solana, and AI communities. Malicious packages are designed to steal developer secrets, crypto wallets, SSH keys, cloud creds, blah, blah, blah. So it steals a lot of the same stuff that the NPM worm does, but it's specifically targeting crypto wallets, right? Makes sense. You were tracking this a couple days ago. See? Ancient history, Laura said. Laura said 2 days ago is ancient history, and she's dead on. May 24th. Ancient history. Sunday research blog came out. The next time that this guy got on camera, because he was too busy eating a hot dog by a pool on Memorial Day. Next day, this guy got on camera, and Laura's like, I was tracking that a couple days ago, streamer. Hey, streamer, you're slow. No, I know. All right. Here are the NPM packages that you all need to worry about. Did you guys see the thread that I talked about? Like what we should all be doing about this to like not have our Claude agents pull random fucking malware packages? Wait. How? I'll get to that in a sec. They were uploaded May 22nd at 2020. The wheel published 2 minutes later. The packages were then published in waves by a handful of accounts and actively updated through the weekend. They stood out because they posed as generic developer tools, appeared in quick succession across multiple registries. Socket detected the package across all three ecosystems. How fast? When did Socket detect? Because at NPM, they're getting down to minutes, which is crazy fast. They're going to set the bar for everyone playing in this space. I want to know when Socket detected. What they steal, this looks very, very similar to the NPM Morim Shaialud, but instead we've also got these crypto stuff. Stolen SSH keys can reuse lateral movement. Cloud and GitHub creds can expose. NPM packages used post-install hooks. Yeah, this is part of the same, this MO. You guys got to like just really internalize this MO because this is just happening fucking constantly, right? They exfiltrate wallet keystrokes. Rust build process, everybody. Rust, not infallible. Malicious build scripts searches for local key stores, encrypts the data, and then exfiltrates it to gists. Allows code execution during package compilation before the developer directly runs any package functionality. For crypto developers working with, how do you say this, SWI and Move tooling, this creates a high-risk path for wallet and key store theft. DeFi security best packages. The attacker-controlled GitHub Pages repository also contained audit matrix MD that appears to describe the intended extraction framework behind. Wait a second. We have exploit kit documentation? Well, it's kind of the mode I've been stuck in for a while. It's not your main bag, so no one should expect you to be on top of day of discovery. Anyway, yeah, that's what you were on Sunday. Definitely some differences here. Not sure this is Team PCP. Yeah, I don't think this is Team PCP either. I agree. Because they're not like taking over the GitHub accounts of like known shit, right? They're stealing similar secrets, but their method in actually isn't described here, but it doesn't look like it looks like they were just publishing malicious packages. They don't have any description here about how they were getting the developers to install those malicious packages. We got exploit kit with documentations, that even with pretty diagrams, everybody. Strategic extraction. Here's my criminal playbook for each detected capability. All right, who wants to guess why? 1,000 internet points to whoever can guess why Matt thinks that this diagram is in this exploit kit GitHub thing. Crypto thing, not their angle. Yeah. 1,000 internet points to whoever can guess why I think this diagram exists. With Node, do you just have to prevent the stuff by blocking automatic package updates? You can block automatic package updates. That's what some people are certainly saying you should do. Some people are saying just don't even use packages anymore. Find the shit that you need in those packages and write them yourselves. Because it's made by AI. Colin, 1,000 internet points to Colin. 1,000 internet points to Colin.
Mythos.
Mythos has escaped the lab, everybody. This is definitely something that Claude would do, right? If you asked Claude to fucking build this, you know that it would be like, here, we're going to detect capabilities on the machine that we've hacked, right? And then based on those capabilities, we're going to create a strategic extraction for each detected capability, run the optimal strategy. This is a fucking AI agent created exploit kit by sure, like for sure, right? There's no effing way that this was not spit out by an AI model. I don't know if it's Claude, because Claude would probably start yelling at you if you were using it to build an exploit kit. So it's probably some jailbroken, something like that. Gemma 4. 1,000 internet points exchange rate to yen. I don't know. It's probably pretty bad at this point. Strait of Hormuz, things are rough out there. Do your best, all right? Do your best. Attackers open PRs to... Oh, here you go. Here's their way in. So the attacker opens PRs to AI and developer projects. Okay, so they open the PRs to the projects with their malware in these malicious packages, okay? That's their way in. Again, this is also not Team PCP playbook, right, Laura? Just opening PRs with like infected packages is not their way in, right? They usually are doing stuff through GitHub Actions and other workflows. GitHub also warned the file contained hidden or bidirectional Unicode text. Right. So this is obfuscation techniques that GitHub is noticing. The PR activity shows the campaign extended beyond the registry publication. The attackers appeared to be testing whether AI-facing projects files can be introduced through the normal open source contribution workflows. The account also created or seeded related AI DeFi security themed projects and discussions to try to be very legitimate. Let's look at this. Oh, it's already down. Darn, it's already down off GitHub. Campaign design. Yeah, this is all AI generated for sure. Super funny. I'm poking at it to see if you can figure out who. Interesting, Laura. Let me know. Laura, are you in Woo Woo by chance? If not, you should be. If you're tracking threat actors and all that, it's an interesting kind of threat intel group. DeFi and security theme lore repos. Okay. Are these repos going to be up? Or are they all taken down? Darn, they're all taken down. Do I get lucky enough to get a web archive? No, Woo is another group. I don't really have invite power or anything like that, but let's see. There is an archive going back to the 24th. Yeah, buddy. We have an archive. Okay. So, smart contract audit toolkit. So this is a lore. Automated smart contract security scanner with vulnerability detection, gas optimization analysis, and compliance checking. And then what's actually in here? Environment example, index.js. Is this not archived? Package JSON. Page does not exist. Darn, it didn't go any deeper than this. Darn, darn, darn. Woo. I was hoping to read the code in here. Looks like no such luck. All right. Well, so these lore repos, I'm guessing, then had the malicious packages in their package JSON. So if you installed this like smart contract audit security tool, you would catch one of their malicious packages. That's what I'm guessing. That's what I'm guessing, right? And then seeded GitHub community activity to try to like seem all legitimate. Hey, Gemini community, look at the stuff that we did. Bunch of bot accounts. Low volume packages, high value targets. Trapdoor shows how attackers are combining traditional package typo squatting with newer developer environment attack paths. Through behavioral and cross-registry analysis, the broader campaign connection became clear during the Crates.io wave when a cluster of Rust packages targeting SWE and Move developers showed infrastructure and behavioral overlap in related NPM and PyPy packages. Across 381 package version records, socket detected trapdoor releases in an average of 5 minutes. Yeah, 6 minutes seems to be Socket's new bar, man. Good for Socket. This is the bar for people now. So some form of Trojan. Yeah, it's backdoor for sure. Good old Socket. Yeah, see, Socket's one of the teams that like we can kind of hold their nose at the marketing stuff that they do on social media that like people give them shit about. I can kind of hold my nose because they're fucking detecting malware in 6 minutes on NPM. It's like, all right, they're doing the damn thing. You got other people doing that same level of marketing on Twitter and like nowhere near as valuable of like give back to the community. So I can absolutely be like, you know what? Go ahead. Pound your chest a little bit. Might also help that I know the team over there. They're a good team. All right, I had one other supply chain thing. I have not verified this. Okay? I have not verified this. And I was waiting to see if anyone else hopped on this. But I want to show it. I don't know if this person is a fan who hangs out in chat. So sorry if, let me see if I can like not show your name if you're in here. But I got tagged on this LinkedIn post today. All right, I don't think I'm showing the name. I don't think it's a big deal. They tagged me. It's a public LinkedIn post. I don't think I have to hide this. Okay. I'm just, whatever. So this person got a message on LinkedIn. They tagged me. I don't know. I guess I'm a person that people tag when they have security issues now. I don't hate it. By the way, do you guys play these daily LinkedIn puzzle games? If not, you should. And I challenge you all to try to beat me at cross climb. I'm not very good at the rest of them, but I'm rather undefeated at cross climb. Okay. Not to brag or anything, but like, I'm going to brag for a second. I'm really fucking fast at this one. These other ones, not so much. But I do pretty good. At cross climb. Everyone add me on LinkedIn and start playing the daily puzzles. And I will judge you based on how you do relative to me on LinkedIn puzzles. Ridiculous. I'm ridiculous. Should we do it live? Should we do a LinkedIn puzzle live? Let's see. Let's do it. All right. I usually like take this super seriously and warm up and everything. Make sure I'm like highly caffeinated. Let's do it. I don't know. Oh no, my mouse wasn't there. Sound the alarm. Warn. We're kept barn. Threadbare as frayed. Yarn? Overcooked to the point. Burn? It's not yarn. What is this? Warn. I got the rest of them. A 2-word phrase for tasks that don't produce much reward. Oh, I don't know. Tasks that don't... Oh, this is a bad one. Produce much reward. Is it you again? It is. I don't know, man. It's going to be R. No, it's not. Oh, man. Busy work. Oh, my God. That was the worst one I've had ever. I always win. I usually get that in 20 seconds. The pressure of doing it live. I usually get 20 seconds. I usually half everyone else in my thing. Oh, my God. The pressure of doing it live. Idiot. Shouldn't have done it. Shouldn't have done it live. Now you all think I'm a fraud. All right. Let's go back to that other thing. I am so easily distracted. I wanted to bring this up, though, because it looked kind of interesting. Man, I usually know all the answers, and I'm just limited by, like, how fast can I type and, like, not typo. Like that. I usually get all the words. I didn't know busy work. I couldn't think of busy work. Oh, the pressure. The pressure. You got to drop. See you, Laura. I don't touch LinkedIn. Unclean. Queens gang represent. I'm, like, really bad at Queens. Cross climb is my only one that I'm good at. Queens, I don't even know how to get faster at. Let's do Queens. I'll do Queens right now. I do it on my phone because I can, like, drag the X's across the screen. So let's do Queens really quick. All right. We're doing it. This is great. This is top tier stream content, right? Just like everyone cannot see what I'm doing. And this is like fantastic stream content. Just really, really like professional shit here. Like what a good streamer I am. All right. That was a pretty good Queens for me, actually. 24 seconds. 24 seconds. Oh, Ed, you beat me by, oh, God damn it. Look at that. As if you queued it up. As if you queued it up. Ed said, Queens gang represent. And then I do it on my phone. And what do I see as soon as I do it? Ed beat me by 1 second. See, that was really, really fast for me for Queens. And I was 10 seconds over. Look at this. Look at these fuckers at the top. How are these people doing that in 8 seconds? How the fuck are people doing these things in 8 seconds? Oh, I gotta be a good streamer that can like put my phone on stream. Yeah, I could. Tango I like. I'm usually I can kind of be good at tango sometimes. Let's do tango really quick. See, it's the pressure of doing it live. I'm too distracted. All right. No. I fucked up. All right. That wasn't bad. I fucked up a little bit. 32 seconds. Where'd I get? 6th on Tango. Did you beat me on Tango too, Ed? Look at this guy. This guy I went to college with is always at the top of this. Dan, he's at the top of like most of these games. 32 seconds. See, this is what I'm saying. I'm like middle of the pack on a lot of these games, but cross climb, I'm like always number 1 on cross climb. I fucked up today on stream. All right, I'm not gonna do the rest of these on stream. The rest of these take like a minute or so. So it's how I use my iPad for Teams calls. I'll do it. All right, you know what I got for I got a birthday present. I got a Switch 2 for my birthday with the new Pokemon games. Should we do a Pokemon stream one day? Oh yeah, low level. You're a gamer, right? What? You play WoW? Is that your only game? We should do that. That's what we should do. We should do podcast shit as podcasts, and then we should do gaming streams together to be like variety streamers. You're a WoW boy, right? I could dust off an old WoW account. I am bad. I'm a bad, like, I have to do a Pokemon stream. I'll do a Pokemon stream right the fuck now. But yeah, I got Pokopia with the present, but I would love to play Legends EA. So anyone I know I have some lurkers on Twitch. My Twitch account, like the reason I have a Twitch account was because I was a Pokemon shiny hunter on Twitch. So I used to do shiny hunting as my streaming method. And I was more successful on Twitch as a shiny hunter than I am as a security streamer. I'll tell you that by a long shot. I qualified for affiliate. I don't think I would qualify for affiliate as a security streamer if I was starting now. Yeah, no, there's 2 of you in here. Like to qualify for affiliate, you need like fucking 20, 50 people, right? Host the podcast in the Barrens. You've been doing M+ lately, not super dedicated, just a few a week. All right, so the thing I would absolutely play on stream right now, a whole lot more of. Oh God, does it? Oh God. Could I get this on my computer? I could. I can't do this. For my productivity's sake, I cannot install this on this computer. I have been getting back into Magic the Gathering Arena. I told you guys. I've been playing a lot of in-person Magic the Gathering because I really like Commander style. Commander isn't in Arena, but I'm still playing Arena. Ugh. Rage-inducing game, man. We took like a little mini road trip out of town yesterday, and I was playing in the car, and I played like the whole drive, like one match, and then lost. It's like, oh God, like you try to get 4 wins a day to like get a bunch of gold and experience in Arena. I don't know if any of you play Arena. You never got into Magic. Low level, is that your only game? I absolutely can be talked into breaking out my WoW account. I'm like a weirdo. I avoided WoW when WoW was WoW, right? And then I got into it in Battle for Azeroth. Isn't that weird? Like everyone hated Battle for Azeroth. That's when I played WoW. Like my only WoW experience is Battle for Azeroth. And then I think I played a little Classic when Classic came out. And then that's it. I kind of fell off. I was really, really, really big into Final Fantasy 14. That was my MMO. I have like... Do I have Steam on this computer? No. Probably a good thing. I probably have 4,500 hours on my Final Fantasy 14 account on Steam. It was bad. It was bad. You played the fuck out of WoW when you were in high school? Yeah, I missed that whole boat. I was like a StarCraft guy. Diablo 2. I avoided it because I have an addictive personality, and I fucking knew that I would like never do anything but WoW if I got into it. And I just didn't have any friends that played, which is probably lucky, right? But yeah, Battle for Azeroth, I got into it and like made a little, joined a crew on Discord and like was raiding and shit. But I was bad, man. Are you a StarCraft 2 player? No, I just played original StarCraft. I have played StarCraft 2, but that was my high school obsession. Like I was on the ladder. I was on the competitive ladder in StarCraft. I was super into it. I was a Protoss main. But again, I could be convinced to do any of this shit. I got a guy that works at Unit 42 for Palo Alto Networks. We've been giving talks at PAX for the past year, the gaming conference. He reached out to me. He was like, hey, do you want to give a talk at PAX? He just like followed me on social media. And I was like, sure. And now we're like homies. And so we play games every now and then. I got him into Pal World. We were playing Valheim. I, again, do not have a lot of gaming time as like you, Ed, but like it is like one of my only social outlets outside of like my daughter's friends' parents is like my friends nowadays. But so my wife is usually like super like down if I'm like, hey, I'm gonna have a game night with some friends. She's like, sweet, like go have a friend. You know? So usually it's like, okay, I can kind of like bow out of bedtime and go play a game for a few hours. So that's usually it. It's like, all right, do dinner with the fam, get the kid bed train running, and then go play a game for a while. So I will absolutely set up my Elgato and my old streaming setup at home on my gaming PC, which isn't even plugged in since I moved. I haven't even plugged in my gaming PC since I moved. But I would love to do this. It's how, yeah. See, once the kids are in bed, you decompress. Same. My main reason I do not get to hang out with a lot of my friends gaming is I do not play shooters. I hate shooters. I just don't play them. I don't play any Call of Duty. Fucking Fortnite. Never played Fortnite. I don't like shooters at all. First person, third person, don't care. Don't like shooters. Extraction shooter, Arc Raiders. I'm a walking loot box on Arc Raiders. My gaming buddy I was just talking about convinced me to fucking play Arc Raiders. I probably played 30 to 40 hours of Arc Raiders. I don't think I fucking extracted successfully a single time. I don't think I got out of a single match. I am atrocious at shooters. Atrocious. So they're not fun to me. When you're so bad at them, you're like, eh. All right, guys. Sorry, I got distracted. I haven't verified this, but this person said that they got this LinkedIn message with a GitHub link, basically saying like they're about to do a job interview, right? And they're like, hey, here's a demo version of the product. We would like to hear your opinion of the dashboard. Basically like, hey, download my GitHub. And then they're saying, it looks like they were coming from PeerSeed U, but it's PeerSeed U 2026, right? Then it included a compromised NPM package. And the package is pointing to Feroz's GitHub repo. And so then the guy even put like Claude's analysis of this. It's like this GitHub thing is published 24 hours ago. Inside index.js, there's some base64 endpoints that are going to this exploit thing. There's a post install script. Basically, he caught an NPM, like, it could even be the trapdoor thing. This could even be part of the trapdoor thing that we're talking about, right? Should we go to that URL and see? I haven't verified a lot of this. PeerSeed U 2026. Let's try it. Let's see if they're taken down already. Did I type it right? It's 404 and it might already be taken down. PeerSeed U 2026. Yeah, it's already taken down. Already down. You should play Super Hot, become a better shooter. What's Super Hot? I did play Helldivers with Jason Haddix, and we did like Security Nerd stream, Helldiver streams when it first came out. And I was fucking chaos. Everyone sucked. I played like the first drop, like before the first like content even came out, like when it very first came out. It was so funny how chaotic that game got, for sure. That was fun. That was really fun. But then the first content came out and people started to get good and I still wasn't good. And it's like, all right, I'm not getting any good items or anything like that. All right, I gotta find. Um. I gotta find out if my editor is ready to kick the tires on Riverside. Your cousin and I stopped playing public shooters because we had day jobs and kept losing to kids and couldn't practice all day. Yeah, same. The only time I got into a shooter for any length of time was like my old college roommate homies, like good friends of mine from college. And none of us lived together, you know, well, I moved. Some of them still live in New York, but I moved. So I don't live near any of my college friends. And they were big Xbox guys. And so I had an Xbox and I was playing Destiny 2 with them. And that was cool. Because it was like, oh, I'm hanging out with my old college buddies at night playing Destiny 2. And they just tolerated that I was garbage. And they were like, yeah, Matt sucks, but whatever. He hangs out with us. That's the only time I like played a shooter for any length of time. I played the shit out of Diablo. We played Diablo 4 for a few seasons, me and Jadix. And then even when I was still working at Reddit, we had a Slack channel for Diablo 4 nerds. And so a few of us would run Diablo dungeons at night. That was pretty cool. I fucking love Diablo. Diablo is so much fun. I love a grindy game. Give me like a fucking grind. Like, yeah. Like, oh, I got to like put so many hours into getting the best items on this. Ooh, just inject that into my veins. I love it. Love it. All right, stream. I think that's about it. We just crossed 2 hours on the nose, pretty much. You liked grind. No wonder you like Destiny 2. Yeah, I think that's why I could tolerate it as a shooter. Because it was like, all right, log in, do your thing every day, you know, just like run your daily shit. It's why I'm liking Magic the Gathering Arena right now. Because it's like, all right, run your dailies, you know. All right, guys, I am going to go do the HD Moore interview. If you guys missed it at the beginning of the stream, I'm interviewing the author and founder of Metasploit, Mr. HD Moore, and I are going to do an interview for a YouTube video. We are talking about, let's pull it up, the Shadow Era. What did he tell me? He's going to run through a bit of a presentation, it looks like. He sent me slides, man. Damn. All right, I'm reading the storyboard that they sent over. All right, sweet. So we're gonna go interview. HD. Anything about him to look up if you've never heard of him? Oh yeah, I mean, HD doesn't have a big ego, so I don't think he'd even care if you hadn't heard about him. But he wrote a little tool called Metasploit. Here's his little website. Best known as the founder of Metasploit. I remember going to the very first B-Sides SF, and he was in the back, literally like he was about to get on stage, and he was in the back just like writing Ruby code for a Metasploit module like before he went on stage. He was like unbothered that he was about to get on stage and like do stuff. Presentations. Let's see how long this scrolls. He's been around longer than me. CanSec West 2001. Jeez. Sands boot camp on SQL injection in 02. I met him around, when did I meet him? Metasploit, yeah, mid 2000s. Metasploit comes out. Yeah, 04. CanSec West used to be like a major thing. I met him probably at that B-Sides is the first time I met him, but I knew about him, obviously. This is my first DEF CON. B-Sides Vegas. This is the very first B-Sides Vegas. He talked. Source Boston. Yeah, I probably saw this DEF CON 2010 Sky Talks, and then B-Side San Francisco 2011 is probably what I'm talking about when he was in the back of the room. Yeah, I mean, he's just a legend, dude. You haven't heard of him? Oh, he's a legend. And he's just like a node brain, man. Like, he's the CEO and founder of Run Zero, but he fucking like is still shitting out code. Like, so here's all his stuff. You can go find him. He's very prolific. Prolific dude. He's also just a good dude. Just a good dude. So yeah, we're going to interview. It sounds like he's going to be talking about, obviously, guess what? AI in the modern world when it comes to like exploitation. So here, like one of the kind of the interesting line of thought that I'm interested in like asking him about is this whole Project Glasswing, like keep Mythos in this little locked box of like, no, this is too dangerous. It's like people used to say this shit about Metasploit. Because Metasploit made it so much easier for people with no skills to exploit stuff. And like, that's what I'm saying. As a security community, we've kind of evolved that like, no, it just like, you got to give this shit in the hands of the developers and the defenders, because you're only just stopping legitimate defenders from getting access to it. Like the attackers are going to make the capability like that Mythos has. Like same thing with Metasploit. Like if Metasploit didn't put the shit out publicly, threat actors would have. If it's possible, it will happen, right? Is kind of the theory behind a lot of this security stuff. So just like pretending like it's not fucking possible and being like, we're gonna, you know, imagine Metasploit came out and it was like the White House was debating whether or not you would be able to have access to it. Oh, sorry, Nmap? You don't get Nmap. Nmap makes hacking too easy. Like, we're going to deem you a supply chain risk. None of you get Nmap anymore. Metasploit, yoink, nope. That's going to be in this like heavily regulated corner, and you're not going to get access to it. Yeah, it just ain't it. You know what I mean? It just ain't it. All right, guys. I will be live mañana. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good tomorrow morning. I gotta get the gym back in my life. So I might start pushing stream. I know I was starting stream, and like when I first started, I was starting it in the 8:30 to 9 o'clock window. And then the last 2 weeks I've been kind of in the like 9:30 area. I know today was like 10. I'm thinking I might start to push it back because I got to find time to go get the damn gym back in my life. So, maybe I might start a little bit later. So just keep notifications on. It'll be in the morning, but I might start to push it back until later morning so I can go get my ass back into the gym. Because since I've moved, I moved earlier this year to a new house, and my whole routine is just fucking thrown off. And it does not take much for me to be like, I didn't go this week, so that's it. I never go again. So, yeah. Woe is me. Got to figure it out. All right, guys. Thanks for all the birthday love. I appreciate you. If you haven't, go subscribe to our new hidden podcast. The first episode will come out maybe tomorrow. maybe Thursday. It's with the editor. And we're going to record another one Friday. So we're going to keep doing those podcasts with me and Ed. So if you haven't subscribed to that, go check it out. If you guys like podcasts, that'll kind of fit the, like, I do the shorts. Me and Ed both do like 10-minute videos on YouTube, 10 to 30-minute videos. I do these for a couple hours. This will kind of fill the gap, right? We're going to kind of be in that 1 hour podcast thing. So anyone who likes that 1 hour sweet spot, like on a commute or something like that for do a podcast, that's why we're doing that. So